Today, we're going to learn how to install Python and then get your first IDE, which we're going to use Pycharm from JetBrains. So the first thing we want to do is open whichever browser you have. I'm going to use Chrome, and let's just search Python download. So this is the python.org, which is the official Python site. And there's the latest version right now, 3.13.5. There are a billion other versions, but right now, let's just go with this one right here up top. You're going to click download. Now, once this finishes, we're just going to open this up. I'm going to say, hey, where do you want to install it? Personally, I'm going to install it in my local programs instead of making it custom. Also, make sure you add that python.exe to your path. In the future, when you get more advanced, you're more comfortable, it's nice to just have Python in either your terminal versus working in the virtual environment, which we'll save for another day. So let's click install now. Successfully set up. Perfect. Now let's get Pycharm Community Edition. So same thing, we're going to search Pycharm Community Edition IDE. And you'll click this first one from JetBrains. And then you'll click right here and just download the first one you see. The drop down does have ARM64, but don't worry about that. So if you're Mac, just click the download here for Mac. Same with Linux, click it up here. And once you have that going, you should be able to install it directly. So I have Pycharm right here. Close that. So now you should see this installation right here. And so just pick the path you want it in. I'm keeping mine on the C drive. You'll click next. These are some configurations very important to pay attention to. You do want a desktop shortcut, so you can just click it on your desktop. Add bin folder to the path, very important when you want to either work with either the virtual environment, want to work through the terminal. So if it's in that path location, it'll save you a lot of trouble down the road. Next, create associations with .py. So if you're new to Python, .py just means it's a Python file. So anything that has that .py at the end or that extension will be able to be opened in Pycharm. And then lastly, add open folder as a project. I do recommend, because when you get later into your development and you have big projects and you're working with like APIs and Django and Flask and these other things you'll learn in the future, you will want to open folders as projects. So you can click next. Your start menu should say JetBrains, and you just install it. So we'll let this run for a bit, and once it finishes, we'll open it up and I'll just walk through the setup scripts and some of the settings you may adjust. All right, now that it's done, you can choose whatever you want, reboot now or manually reboot later. Whichever you choose, we'll just pick up right after. So I will reboot later. So let's click finish. Now we can close our browser out. All right, now that we have Pycharm installed, let's open it. So Pycharm should load up. You should see if you had a recent project here, it'll show up first. If you want to remove that, I will remove this. So mine should look just like yours. It should say welcome to Pycharm. So you can start a new notebook, which is related to Jupyter Notebook, a new script, which is going to be a Python script, a new project, or you can open a folder as a project or just any folder you have with some Python code, or you can even clone a repository. For this video purpose, we're just going to start a new project. And this is your location. So remember, this is where your folder's stored. So everything created is going to be here. Very important. If you want to create a Git repository, so anything with GitHub, you can click here. If you want to create a welcome script for this purpose, we're going to do that. So we have something that's already waiting for us. And then lastly, your interpreter type. So this means, how are we going to run Python? So project VNV is just virtual environment. Base conda, you do need to install mini conda, but we're not going to worry about that. Or you could do a custom environment where you adjust the settings as is. So if you had a new one, you want to select an existing one, you want to use a virtual environment, conda. It gets a little complex, so we're not going to worry about that. We're going to stick to the basics, and you're just going to stay on virtual environment. So VNV, and we just installed Python 3.13. So you should see all these options. If you see a version you want, you can download and install it. I do have multiple copies of different ones. And so let's stick with the basics and create that project. close that out, close that out. And if you selected the welcome script, you should see within the Python project folder, your virtual environment folder. So that's how Python is going to run. And then main.py, which is where we're going to run our script. So if you're new to Python, this right here is very simple. We'll go into depth in other videos, but it's just saying print your name. All right. And so print, this is an F string, and that's just a way to add variables into strings, and name, which is a variable. So that's just, it's like math, you know, we're just assigning a value to something. And right here it says if name equals main, right? We're going to run this function called print hi, and it's going to give us back Pycharm. And so now, if you set it up properly in your virtual environment and you have your bin, if you click run main, you should see hi Pycharm. And you're all set now. Hopefully your IDE works. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments section. And I'll see you guys next time.